Welcome to my channel. I'm Scott, and if you want to catch my newest video, I post one every day to 8 a.m. In this video, I am going to walk you through the process of valuing 3 Canadian copper stocks by analyzing their financial ratios and dissecting their financial statements, so we can determine if the stocks are a buy or a sell. All 3 stocks trade on the Toronto Stock Exchange. The first one we're going to look at is Lundin Mining, and this is a mid-cap company, 6.5 billion market cap. It trades at $8.84 a share and has 734 million shares outstanding. Let's look at the financials. The way you value a company is you estimate the future free cash flows and then you discount that number back to today's value. That's what we're doing in this video. And free cash flow is cash flow from operations minus capital expenditures. And this company has positive free cash flow in 2 years, negative free cash flow in 2 years. Net income is the profit and loss on the income statement. It's revenue minus expenses. And they have negative net income in 2016, but positive in the next 3 years. Revenue is the sales for the company, and it does go up a lot from 2016 to 2017, but then drops in 2018, goes up a little in 2019. Let's look at a capital structure: $309 million of debt, $3.8 billion of equity, and their WACC, which is a blend of the cost of debt and cost of equity, is 14%, and that's a discount rate we're going to apply to the future cash flows. We estimated 4 years of future free cash flows. We also estimated terminal value, which is all cash flows past year 4, that's $10.2 billion. We discounted those numbers back to today using the weighted average cost of capital. We get a value of the company of $7.7 billion. We divide that by 734 million shares. And we get a calculated stock price of $10.44. They're trading at $8.84, so they're trading at a 15% discount. It's a buy according to the model. Simply Wall Street values the company at $17.81, so they're saying it's really undervalued. It looks like the stock peaked at about $10. It came down below $5 in March, but it's been driven back up the price, so it's almost at its all-time high. The company has a 1.7% dividend, and they pay 4 cents a share. Let's look at the financial ratios. The average PE is 15.3, the median is 14.8. PE is stock price over earnings per share. To calculate earnings per share, that's net income over shares outstanding. They're at 38.8, so they're doing worse than the median and average. The average price of sales is 5.1, the median is 2.1. Price of sales is stock price over sales per share. To calculate sales per share, that's revenue over shares outstanding. They're at 3.4, so they're between the median and average. The average price to book is 4.6, the median is 2.3. Price to book is stock price over book value per share. To calculate book value per share, that's equity over shares outstanding. They're at 1.7, so they're doing much better than the median and average. Equity is assets minus liabilities on the balance sheet. The average interest coverage ratio is 12.3, the median is 3.9. Interest coverage ratio is EBIT over interest expense. They can easily cover their interest payments. EBIT is earnings before interest and taxes. The average ROE is 11%, the median is 12%. ROE is net income over equity. They're only at 4%, so they're doing much worse than the median and average. The average current ratio is 1.8, the median is 1.3. Current ratio is current assets over current liabilities. They're at 1.4, so they can cover their current liabilities. Current assets are assets that can be liquidated into cash within 12 months. Examples are cash, accounts receivables, and inventory. Current liabilities are debts and payables due within 12 months. Examples are current debt and accounts payable. The second company we're going to look at is First Quantum Minerals, and this is a large cap company, 11.1 billion market cap. They're trading at $16.12 a share, and they have 689 million shares outstanding. They report negative free cash flow every year, and they have negative net income in 3 of the 4 years. Their revenue increases quite a bit each year, and they have 8.8 billion of debt, 9.4 billion of equity, and their WACC is 11.2%. We estimated 4 years of future free cash flows. We also estimated terminal value, which is all cash flows past year 4. We discounted those numbers back to today, and we get a value of the company of $10 billion. We divide that by 689 million shares, and we get a calculated stock price of $14.47. They're trading at $16.12, so they're trading at 11% premium. It's a sell according to the model. Simply Wall Street's at $16.86, so they're saying the stock is undervalued. They're saying it's a buy. So I couldn't value this company using my traditional discounted cash flow model because they only report negative free cash flow. The way I valued this company is I looked at what the average analyst expected their future cash flows to be, Then I looked at their financials and their competitive financials and adjusted the future cash flows as I saw fit. And it looks like their stock peaked at almost $20 and then came down. It looks like a similar trend as the last company, and it's come back up the past few months. And they pay a really small dividend, 0.12%. Let's look at the financial ratios. They have a negative PE because they have negative net income. Their price to sales ratio is 2.7, which is pretty close to the median. And they're doing really well in price to book at 1.2, better than the median and average. Their interest coverage ratio is 2.5, so they can cover their interest payments 2.5 times. They have a negative ROE since they have negative net income, and current ratio looks pretty good at 1.2. The third and last company we're to look at is Ero Copper. This is a small cap company, 1.8 billion market cap. They're trading at $20.65 a share, and they have 87 million shares outstanding. And we only have 3 years of financial information, 2017, 18, and 19. And in 2017 and 18, they had negative free cash flow, but they turned it around and had positive free cash flow in 2019. And they had negative net income in 2 to 3 years. Their revenue more than doubled from 2017 to 2019. They have $163 million of debt, $198 million of equity, and their WACC is 15%. And we estimated 4 years of future free cash flows. We also estimated terminal value, which is all cash flows past year 4. We discounted those numbers back to today using the weighted average cost of capital. We get a value of the company of $1.6 billion. We divide that by 87 million shares. We get a calculated stock price of $17.87. They're trading at $20.65, so they're trading at a 16% premium. It's a sell according to the model. Simply Wall Street's way higher. They're at $59 a share, so they're expecting much greater free cash flow growth than my model indicates. The stock peaked in the low 20s. It came back down, but the price has been coming up the past few months. This company does not pay a dividend. Let's look at the financial ratios. PE ratio of 19.5, so they're doing a little worse than the median and average. Price to sales of 6.3, so they're doing a bit worse than the average and median. Price to book of 9.0, that's also worse than the median and average. They're doing well in the interest coverage ratio. They can cover their interest payments more than 8 times. Really well in ROE at 46%. They provide a great value to their equity holders. And their current ratio is below 1, so they cannot cover their current liabilities. The best way to look at ratios to compare them to similar companies, I've done videos on 4 companies in the copper industry. The only American company is Freeport-McMoRan, so I converted their market cap to Canadian dollars. So Ero has the best price to earnings ratio of all the companies. Freeport and First Quantum are negative. Freeport has the best price to sales ratio. First Quantum is the best of the 3 we looked at. First Quantum has the best price to book ratio. Freeport has the highest current ratio. First Quantum and Lundin are both doing fine. Ero is below 1, so they're struggling in that category. But for ROE, Ero is by far the best. 2 of the companies are negative, and Lundin is only 4%. In terms of debt, Lundin is doing by far the best at only 8%. The other companies are 40 to 50%. Freeport-McMoRan is the largest company of the 4. First Quantum is the largest of the companies we looked at today. And Freeport-McMoRan pays the largest dividend by far. Lundin is the largest of the 3 companies we looked at. So let me know what you think. Give this video a like, subscribe, or comment below. Also, if you'd like to get a custom valuation or just support the channel, you can become a member by clicking the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.